Jay here, Stretford Paddock. We are live with a bit of breaking news that Dan Ashworth has left Manchester United. Yep, it is a bit of a shocker, this one. News broke about, 45 minutes ago. David Ornstein in The Athletic breaking the news that Dan Ashworth is leaving Manchester United or has left Manchester United. I'm going to get into it all. First of all, make sure you are getting involved in the chat and the comments. Hit that like button as well, please. People, I mean, I'm a bit stunned by this one. I ain't going to lie to you. I was not expecting this. I was having a bit of a lie-in this morning. And then I saw the news, like someone in the group chat was like, Ashworth out. And I thought, what? Surely not. Like, he's only just got here. And we went through months of a big rigmarole with Newcastle United to get him here. And now it appears that we've had enough and he's going. I'm going to get into the story, exactly what has happened and what we know. And then I want you guys to get involved in the chat and the comments. Hit that like button as well. Let's have a bit of a chat about this one. Let's have a conversation because it's just weird. It's just all a bit bizarre to me that it's happened so quickly. That we had this manager. He's come in. Sorry, not his manager. This sort of director of football. He's come in. He's been here for about 3 months, or a bit longer than that. So he's 6 months, and then they've decided no, that's enough. Right. So here's the story. Right, let's get into the story first. Let's do a bit of a a recap if you can, or an update as to what exactly has gone on. So David Ornstein. It's not just Ornstein, sorry, I should say. It was Ornstein who tweeted it, but I think it's Laurie Whitwell and one or two others who are involved in the article as well. It says Dan Ashworth, this is in The Athletic, has left his role as Manchester United sporting director after just 5 months. Ashworth officially joined United on July the 1st after a lengthy period of gardening leave at former club Newcastle United, but the transition has not been smooth and his exit has been decided upon. Ashworth's departure was agreed in a meeting with Chief Executive Omar Berrada at Old Trafford after United's Premier League game with Nottingham Forest on Saturday evening. So Jim Ratcliffe has been pivotal to the call to part ways in a move that will stun staff at United, given Ashworth's prominence in trying to reshape the club. Multiple sources speaking anonymously, like others in this story, to protect relationships, say United instigated the separation. The club say the final agreement to end Ashworth's contract was mutual. The new United Ratcliffe-led hierarchy, overseen by Dave Brailsford, had placed Ashworth in overall charge of football and performance recruitment operations, with Jason Wilcox, also a new arrival, reporting to him as technical director. Ashworth himself reported to Berrada, who arrived in the summer from Manchester City. So a bit of a stunning one, this. Like, he's been here since July the 1st. We went through all that nonsense to get him. When I say nonsense, there was, Newcastle didn't want to let him go. He went on gardening leave. Then there was all these rumours. You remember, you must have seen me outside Old Trafford discussing this loads of times over the last over the summer, saying there was these rumours that we couldn't buy anyone that was on Newcastle's shortlist. That what else was there? Was just loads, wasn't there? There was one or two other things as well. I can't remember what they were. We couldn't buy anyone that was on Newcastle shortlist. We couldn't go to Newcastle for any players. There was all these rumours that we couldn't do this, that, and the other. Like, it was all like, well, if you're gonna get him, you're gonna have to sort of agree to all these stipulations. Then there was rumours that he couldn't join until after the window was shut, after the transfer window was shut. That obviously didn't happen. And then obviously this is what's transpired. Now, I don't know, and we'll get into this. We're going to try and work this out, and you can get involved in the conversation. How much of a sort of an impact United start to the season has had on this? Whether that has been the pivotal thing, because it would make sense if it has been, wouldn't it? You would think, well, United are in the bottom half of the table. We've gone through 2 managers. We've lost numerous games. We've lost obviously at home to Liverpool, to Spurs. We just lost to Forest, and they're looking at it going, this guy, he's not the guy. But then the flip side to that is, okay, Ashworth inherited Eric Ten Hag. He inherited the squad that he got. He's only been here for 6 months. He's only had 1 transfer window. And United have made some signings, yes, and you might argue that some of those signings already are looking a bit ropey. I get it. But it seems very quick. It's almost premature in some ways to sort of say, well, that's it. He's done. Let me know what you think. I want to know what you think. I don't know. Excuse me, I nearly choked. And Elle says, how's Van der Sar's health right now? I think he's talking, obviously, Edwin van der Sar could maybe fill the role. Edwin van der Sar has had a couple of health issues, as far as we know. He's okay. Akash K, who's been a member of the sorry, I can't see the first team thing. If Ashworth has left, why is Cox still here? He had massive influence on our contract extension too. Many mistakes made early on. Is anyone aggrieved at this? Does anyone not like this? Mr. Rido, well, Mr. Rido doesn't. He says, "Oh God, I've lost your comment now. Sorry. This is ridiculous. All the BS to get him. Ratcliffe is just as bad as the Glazers." Can I just say something about Jim Ratcliffe? Right? He's not covered himself in glory so far, is he? Now, given the choice of Sheikh Jassim or Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I would have preferred just Jim Ratcliffe. I mean, I made no sort of bones about that. It's not a secret. I didn't really fancy us being part of sports washing. Had many questions about Ratcliffe, but I had a lot more about Sheikh Jassim. And it felt like we would have been tied to a state. And it's nothing against the Qatari state. I don't want us tied to any state, whether that's the British state, the US state, the Qatari state, or any other. And I'd criticise the likes of Man City and PSG and Newcastle for being what I considered state-owned sports washing endeavours. So I didn't want that. But I always knew that Sir Jim Ratcliffe wasn't perfect. We expected there to be some teething problems. When I'd seen him in a few interviews, he's, just the comments he'd made. Some of them were good. Some of them I got. Some of them I liked. Others, I thought, that's not what, that's not sort of the way I see the world, if you will. But you thought, okay, he's a successful businessman. He's the most successful businessman in British history, I think. I think he's the richest British person ever. Richest British business person ever, I think. So he couldn't have been more successful. And he came from nothing as well. So it's not like he inherited a load of wealth. So you can at least respect that. He understood football more than the Glazers. I think he'd at least been to football matches as a fan rather than just because he owned the club. So you think, okay, he understands football. He has made a success of his career and his businesses. Can he bring that success to Manchester United? Can he show us what he knows and bring the good times back? Now, when he gave interviews at first and he talks about Manchester United being a glamour club, the club of George Best, the club of Eric Cantona, we need to get back to that. I was all about it. I also like the fact that he did the little things. He met with the fans forum. He attended the Munich Memorial. I said little things. I know it's a big deal going to the Munich Memorial, but it's something the Glazers didn't do, and it showed that he at least understood where the fans were coming from. But now it just seems the last couple of months things have gone a bit sour. I understood the idea of backing Eric Ten Hag. I get it. He just won the FA Cup. As a fan, I wanted us to back him, and I think that it made sense, even though it didn't work out. Getting rid of him and bringing in Ruben Amorim, again, it makes sense. The results had gone. He lost the dressing room as far as I could see, and he just looked done. He looked done in. And I think the Spurs game for me was the final straw. Ruben Amorim, probably the best manager available. So I get it. Get him as early as you can. All makes sense. I'm not too bothered, or say bothered's the wrong word. I'm not too stressed about the poor performances or the poor result. We've had a couple of bad results against Arsenal and Forest, because I think this is more or less Ruben Amorim's pre-season. He's getting to know his squad. I understand all that. But then the thing with the ticket prices as well. Now, it's only 3% of tickets, people may say, but charging 66 quid for tickets at Manchester United, including kids' tickets, is disgusting. There's no excusing that. It's ridiculous. And I think he's massively misread the room. He has. He's upset a lot of people. I was outside Old Trafford ahead of the Everton game when they had the protest. It wasn't just United fans, it was Evertonians as well. And there was a lot of anti-Ratcliffe chants going on. People angry with him. Fans angry with him. Fans disappointed. And I see the recent interview with Andy Mitten and United We Stand, and he spoke about the price at Fulham and, should United fans, or should it be cheaper to watch United than it is to watch Fulham? Well, yeah. Not that because Fulham are a bigger club than Manchester United or necessarily a better team than Manchester United, although that's debatable at the minute. But everyone knows that Fulham is quite an affluent area. London itself is an affluent area, but not all of it, obviously. But the average wage in London is a lot higher than the average wage in Manchester. Manchester United has always been a working class club. Manchester United is a club that should be about the community. That's what Jim Ratcliffe said. So I don't think we should be paying the same price as Fulham fans, if I'm being brutally honest. Anyway, I digress. The main story here is Dan Ashworth, if he's out. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Let me know what you think. Pulse Love UK says maybe Ashworth was behind the price increases. Captain James Barrow says Ashworth was sold a bill of goods. Fulham are London, says James Brown. I agree. Isesiam says, "What the hell is going on? This is creating more instability at the club after yesterday's performance, and now Dan leaving. This is bringing more pressure." Um, Capo in capital letters. So that shows that they're angry. Says, "There's no way we should be sacking director of football after 5 months. We are clueless." Let me know what you think, right? Because there's two sides to this. The one argument is this is a shambles. He's been here for 5, 6 months, whatever it is. Why are we sacking him now? We look like we don't know what we're doing. We waited all this time to get him. We paid his compensation. We jumped through all these hoops to get him off Newcastle, and we're sacking him 6 months in. It's ridiculous. The flip side is, if you've made a mistake, do you act quickly? If you look at him and you go, you know what? He ain't the guy we thought he was. He's not the guy that we thought would bring success to Manchester United. Yes, he did it at Brighton. I think he did it with England, but he ain't doing it at Manchester United. And I don't know what you're basing that assessment on. Are you looking at the transfer window? Are you looking at the players you brought in? Are you looking at the likes of De Ligt and Mazraoui and Xerxes and Lenny Yoro and saying, and Ugarte, and saying these aren't good players? I'm not so sure about that. I think whilst there's some question marks over Joshua Xerxes, mm, 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 maybe there's a couple of people who are unsure as to De Ligt. I don't think many are. I think a lot of people like him, but I've seen a few pundits. I don't even think you can count pundits, can you? To be honest with you, but I think most United fans are pretty much backing this signing of Matheus De Ligt. He looks like a good player to me anyway. Mazraoui looks like a fantastic signing. And your guy looks like a positive signing. Xerxes, okay, question marks, but is that enough to sack someone? Because you're not sure about Joshua Xerxes? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Um, Soul Twin says, to be honest, I've always considered Ashworth as massively overrated. Okay. Akash K says, I wonder if Xerxes put a nail in Ashworth's coffin here. Well, something must have happened. I don't know what it is. I wonder, right? There's a theory going around I've seen on socials, and you may agree. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let me know what you think. Whether the fact that Ruben Amorim has probably told the club, or is saying to the club and the hierarchy, look, you've got to give me time to look at these players, to assess these players. A lot of these players, I'm not sure about. I don't know. And we're kind of having a pre-season now, aren't we? I think I said this on socials last night. It does feel I wasn't the only one. Lots of people said it. Sorry, my hood out. That it feels like we're having United are in the middle of a pre-season, even though we're not. We're in the middle of the actual season, as everyone knows. But it does feel a little bit like this is pre-season. Have the club looked at it and gone, did Ashworth fight to keep Ten Hag? Was that one? Where they've looked at it and go, that was a mistake. We should have got rid of him in the summer and brought Ruben Amorim in the summer and let the pre-season be the actual pre-season instead of the middle of this season, which is in danger of writing off this season, if anyone can keep up with that. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button as well, please, people. Anne L says, this just makes us look completely incompetent. Incompetent is in capital letters. Let me know. I get your point there, because it doesn't look great, does it? Just with the optics. I always go on about optics, don't I? Because life is about optics. It really is. I put on Twitter, a little bit tongue in cheek, beginning to get the distinct impression INEOS might not really know what they're doing. So, I mean, I was being a little bit jokey there, but there's some truth behind every joke, isn't there? I think they say, did they say that? Have I just made that up? I'm pretty sure I've not made it up. I'm sure someone said it somewhere. I might be paraphrasing it wrong, but you know what I'm on about. And it doesn't look great, does it? It doesn't look great. Here's a big song and dance. We're going to wait for Dan Ashworth. We're going to go through compensation. We're going to fight tooth and nail with Newcastle United to get him. We're going to wait till July the 1st to get him after he's been on gardening leave. And then we're going to sack him at the beginning of December or the 8th of December. Because we got beat off Forest. What? Hey? Really? Is that how you going on? Bit much that. John Sills says, recap, please. Succinct main points of discussion so far. Okay, why not? Ashworth, out. Ornstein reported it. Ratcliffe, pivotal to the call, according to Ornstein. Also, it says here on the Athletic article, multiple sources. One sec. Multiple sources speaking anonymously like others in this story, to protect relationships, say United instigated the separation. The club say the final agreement to end Ashworth's contract was mutual. So yeah, I mean, I get it. Like they've looked at it, they've gone, no. My main worry here is Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been pivotal to the call to part ways. So he's obviously been pretty hands on it. He told us, remember when he came in, that he was going to leave the football to the football department, the football people. Doesn't feel like that, does it? Doesn't feel like he's leaving the football decisions to the footballing people. If he's pivotal with um with this decision, if this is his call, that's not really leaving it because it should be Omar Berrada's call if Omar Berrada's Dan Ashworth's boss. Omar Berrada should be the one who says, "Look, this guy, I've come in, I've worked with him for 6 months. He ain't the guy. You know, I've worked with the likes of Tiggy Biggie Stan, Pep Guardiola, all the rest of it. I know what I'm doing. I've worked with this kid. Say kid, this man. No, I understand that, and maybe there has been an element of that. But the fact that according to the Athletics, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been pivotal, makes me feel like it's been his call. Like he's the one who's decided this. Now that might be wrong. We don't know the intricacies of the machinations of this decision. It might not be solely down to him. It might not have instigated it completely himself. It might be someone else who said it to him. But it feels like that. It feels like at the minute, to me, and I want you to get involved in the chat and the comments because this is just my opinion. It feels like very much this is Sir Jim Ratcliffe's club. Very much like that. Doesn't feel like he's the minority shareholder who's handed everything over to the likes of Berrada and Ashworth, who's now gone, and Wilcox and all the rest of it. It feels like it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe's club. It feels like he's at the front and center of this. You may disagree. Let me know what you think. Ahmed S says, word is that Ashworth was Ten Hag in, and that's caused friction since. Yeah, I've seen a few people tweeting that, a few comments saying that it was Dan Ashworth who championed Ten Hag's cause, and that was viewed as a mistake. Keeping Eric Ten Hag at the club looked like it could be in danger of wasting this season. You may disagree. I wanted us to keep Ten Hag. The flip side to that is I'm a fan. I'm not a football expert. I'm an emotional football fan who would have wanted us to keep anyone after the FA Cup final. Although, to be fair, I kind of said it before then. But after that FA Cup final, I was 100% Eric Ten Hag in. Was that the right move? I don't know. I still feel like it's not that bad that we kept Ten Hag. And then, well, hear me out. People go, Jay, what are you on about? We lost to Liverpool, we lost to Spurs, we lost to Brighton. He didn't win a game in Europe for ages. He played Mazraoui in the 10. Shut up, Jay. I feel like he'd earned the right to go into this third season. He was given the opportunity in the third season. He failed. He then left. That doesn't seem like a ludicrous chain of events to me. Plus, then you bring in Ruben Amorim, who's absolutely fine. And one of the reasons Ruben Amorim is so respected is not just because of what he's done previous seasons at Sporting, but what he was doing this season. Just beating City. They won every game. They were flying. So people looking at it, that is, you can't get more flavour of the month than that. So, whilst it, in hindsight, probably was a mistake to keep Eric Ten Hag on the whole, I still think it made sense. If that statement makes any sense. Paul Bridget is a new member. Thank you for joining. We've got some extra content on the membership section. Also, very soon, I think next week, we'll be doing the 12 days of Paddock where we give away a prize every day to our members and then a big bumper prize just before Crimbo. So make sure you check that out. Hands up for the Panther. Says, must have been some actual reason. Makes sense. People here are having a whinge and making stuff. Is it up in this chat? Read up on it. Not make up opinions. I mean, read up on it by all means, but you can, do give me your opinions. D-Tech says, this is exactly the same as Ralph Rangnick in my eyes. Director arrives, likely meets bureaucracy and roadblocks. Seen as a troublemaker, new manager used as an excuse to dismiss him. Fans fall for it. Okay. Maybe Dan Ashworth has come in and gone, look, let's have a bit of theories. Why not? Someone's in the comments said we don't want theories and making things up. No, but we can, we can question things. We can suggest things. Maybe Dan Ashworth did come in and go, look, this club, mate. Oh my gosh. If this was a car, it'd be written off. Maybe he said some of those things and they don't want to wear it. I don't know. Yeety Yams is a new member. Thank you. Let's get into some of the other comments as well. The worrying thing about all this is it almost feels like an admission from the owners that this season is already a write-off. Someone else saying, "Oh, Gary Downs doesn't like Jim Ratcliffe." Ratcliffe is nothing more than a tax dogging. It's even worse. Chelsea season ticket holder. Paul Cooper. Ratcliffe is a joke. Lashes out 2 million for Newcastle for Ashworth and allows tonight to have a contract extension. This costs money for payoffs. Okay. A2EZ says, Jay, I feel like INEOS are out of their depth. Let's not forget they still report to the Glazers. I understand the reservations people have about INEOS. And while they do report to Glazers, I think INEOS more or less make the decisions. And I think Joel and Avram and Darcy and all the rest of them are just like, okay, yeah. What's that? You got Everton tonight? Right, stacking him, right? Okay. I don't think the Glazers have much of a say. Liam Cohen says players are bringing the club down. The club completely disregard their successful teams like the women and the under 18s. That the City game, Matt Raj says Sporting had 30% possession. Who cares? They won. Santa Not says big story in Ashworth, and all this troll in the chat can do is pour hate on Bruno, Jay, and the entire fan base. Oh, sorry, I've missed this. Have we got a troll? Right, this is stupid. Sorry, Chris. Chris Butcher, I love your channel, Jay, but you guys need to be doing more to call out and condemn this horrendous, abhorrent ticket price rise. It can't just be let to lie. Chris, we're the only channel I know that had the 58 come into the studio to talk about the ticket price rise. We didn't do that with anyone else. We were at the protest. Again, we interviewed the 58 and other people there. The 58 who have been against this, been protest buyers, have been working with us constantly over the last year or so. Been in the studio loads of times. Been outside Old Trafford interviewing them. Steve and Chris, I've been speaking to them a lot. I speak to them a lot. We have been pushing it on socials. They've used our video on their own socials about how the ticket price rise is wrong. So this idea we need to be doing more, is nonsense. I mean, yes, and by we can all do more. I get that. But the idea that we're not doing enough, which is what that is insinuating, I'm sorry, I'm not having that at all. We have been front and center of calling out the Glazers, calling out INEOS, calling out everyone when it comes to ticket price rises. I'm a season ticket holder. I take my kids to the game. Sometimes I might have to use a membership. I understand what this means. This stops me doing certain things I want to do. Yeah. I took my little girls to the game yesterday because I was fortunate enough to be able to get a ticket because someone couldn't make it and they had a spare and they're like, you can take your daughter. Or you can have it basically. But if I was to go through the membership route and I wanted to take all three of my kids and my better half, if we all went together, 5 of us at 66 quid, ain't happening. I ain't got that though. So we do call it out, and I will always call it out because it affects me and it affects all of us. Marcus says, you guys celebrate us giving Jadon Sancho for 25, Chelsea giving, sorry, us giving Chelsea Jadon Sancho for 25 million. Oh, sorry. James says, you're not doing enough, Jay. You should just have a few billion in the bank and to buy United so you can force the club not to raise prices. I wish I could. I wish I had sort of Elon Musk money. I could buy United and sort it out. Well, I wouldn't sort it out. I'd probably make shambles of it, but you never know. I'd certainly lower ticket prices. AI Williams says, you need to do more, Jay. Have you not personally negotiated the situation with SGR? SGR, not good enough. Talking to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I don't want to completely change the stats here, but he gave that interview, didn't he, with United We Stand, Andy Mitten. And he said a few things. And some of the things he said, seem reasonable. Others seem a bit, He said Man United become mediocre. It's supposed to be one of the best football clubs in the world. We have to make difficult and unpopular decisions. If you shy away from the difficult decisions, then nothing more is going to change. Okay. I get it. He also says, I know we get criticism in the press, but we do need to challenge the cost of running this club because what I want to be free for us to do is buy really good footballers, not spend so much of the money on infrastructure. We can't run a business at a loss, which is where United have been in the last couple of years. If you are losing money, you have to borrow from the bank to pay for the losses. Eventually, that becomes unsustainable. He also says about the ticket pricing. I understand that. I was brought up on a council estate in Manchester. I don't want to end up in a position where the genuine local fans can't afford to come, but I do want to optimize the ticketing. We need to find a balance, and you can't be popular all the time either. Here we are talking about 3% of the tickets. It then goes on to say, I don't think it makes sense for a Manchester United ticket to cost less than a ticket to see Fulham. Well, sorry, Sir Jim, but I do, because Fulham is in that there London. And I'm not saying Fulham are as big a club as Manchester United. They ain't, but the average wage in London is a lot higher than the average wage in Manchester. Fulham is also in one of the most affluent areas of London. Manchester United are in the middle of Old Trafford, and next is right, more or less Salford. It's not an affluent area. You want to talk about the communities based in this club and the local fans, then why should we be paying more than Fulham fans? That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what he's on about. Um, Akash K says, so Jim speaks like a commercial guy. I shouldn't really read this out because it's a bit disturbing, especially for a Sunday morning, but I will do. Um, Oh, it's gone. Someone's just saying they want to lick peanut butter off my cranium. You don't want to do that. No one does. Oh, yeah. Starman 27 cent. Jay, I want to lick peanut butter off your majestic cranium. Majestic Cranium was actually the name of Joe Smith's high school band. No, it wasn't really. It was Pitch and Putt, you may have seen from the Brew. You not watched the Brew on Friday, go and check it out. It was very, very funny. Subsado or Suspedo says, nah, Sancho is still trash. He was not going to work at United anyways. Better to pocket 25 million plus another 20 million in salary now than to lose him for a free. Him not being happy, still a good decision. Kenny says, this has been a member for 8 months, says, this is just how Jim runs things. Look at the state of Nice. More sackings, firings will come thick and fast now. JSF7 says, one, is that a shorty printer in the back? What are the other two printers? What's that frame behind your head? What's your favorite animal? My better half does printing and stuff. Design and Shine. You can check her out. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on behind me. It's all a bit rushed this morning, so I haven't had time to set any to deal with the background in an appropriate fashion because this news caught me by surprise. The news that Dan Ashworth is out at Manchester United. Who'd have thunk it? Who believed it? Who knew? Eh? It just seems a little bit weird, doesn't it? Little quick recap. Yeah, Dan Ashworth is out. David Ornstein this morning tweeted it, and he's done an article in The Athletic. I think he's been helped by Adam Crafton and Laurie Whitwell. And he says, Dan Ashworth left his role at Sport as Manchester United sporting director after just 5 months. There was a meeting last night, basically, and apparently Sir Jim Ratcliffe was pivotal in the call, although it's been sort of labelled a mutual decision. Mutual decision. Remember that? It makes me laugh when we have these mutual decisions. It's like, remember when Moyes and Vidic said it was a mutual decision that Vidic wanted to go? What? Yeah, Vidic told you, and you mutually agreed there was nothing you could do about it. Yeah, it doesn't feel like mutual to me. I'd be very surprised if Dan Ashworth was like, yeah, do you know what? I've had enough. It feels like the club have gone, isn't working this season, hasn't been great. You've got to go. Let me know. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Actually, Raj says, let's get Paul Mitchell now. Hit that like button as well, please, people. Albo Martinez Resurrection says, is Edu still available? I think he's gone somewhere. I can't remember where he's gone. Has he gone to Forest or somewhere? I think so. Paul's Love says, Ashworth will go to City. Max says, Jay, you waffling. If we sacked him, would have had a clear out about Eric Ten Hag. Would we? Maybe. I don't know. I still think there's the same issues with getting rid of certain players that now in the summer that we would have had now. Let me have a look. Sorry, I'm just going back because I missed a load of comments. I didn't really do the comments. Grandal says there's a bad world here where Ashworth has said this is so bad I can't do anything, and then they've gone fine. You go then. We don't know really, do we? We don't fully know what the sort of ins and outs of this are. Someone said here something. Manish Bandari says, Jay, it's the time to sign Ragnick now. Open out surgery needed. It still feels like we need open out surgery, doesn't it? You know when Jim, you know when Ralph Ragnick said this club needs open out surgery, you need at least 10 new players. I feel like we're almost still there. How many? That genuinely, if we were to win the title, how many new players do you think we need? Only maybe not 10. A lot. I still feel like we need, for me, at least 2 attackers. Still feel like we need a midfielder. I still feel like we need a wing back. I mean, what's that for? Not 10, is it? But still. And that's me being relatively conservative. It's not me often to say that. Manny K says, give it to McCall at the end of the season. Now you have lost the plot. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you to everyone who's got involved in the chat and the comments. The breaking news that Dan Ashworth is out as Manchester United. What's his official roles? I was getting mixed up. It's sporting director, and sometimes I say director of football. Forgive me. He's out as sporting director. So I don't know who's going to be replacing him. I don't know what's going on there, but kind of caught us by surprise this morning. But we've had a good chat about it. We've got involved in the chat and the comments. I appreciate all you guys as always for everything you do. Make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. Go and check out all the other videos on the channel. Back in the morning outside Old Trafford with more news. Who knows? Maybe someone else will be sat by then. I've been Jay. This has been a bit of breaking news. Dan Ashworth is out. Make sure you enjoy your Sunday. See you in the next one.